Hey guys, tonight we will gently drift back over 1,000 years to the elegant, perfumed world of Heian Japan. Imagining you as a court lady, picture yourself nestled amongst countless layers of silk, the soft rustle of your robes accompanying every graceful, slow motion movement. The air is thick with the scent of incense and blooming plum blossoms, a delicate world unfolding before your eyes. You're about to experience a life of exquisite poetry, intricate social dances, and, let's be honest, probably a lot of sitting around. It's a society where a perfectly penned poem could make or break your reputation, and a misplaced fan could cause a scandal. You probably wouldn't survive this, but don't worry, tonight's version is much softer. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Let me know where you're winding down tonight and what time it is for you in the comments below. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's relax and begin tonight's journey together. You find yourself at the very gates of the Imperial Palace in Heian, which we now know as modern-day Kyoto. The year is around 1000 CE, give or take a few cherry blossom seasons. You've been brought here perhaps as a lady-in-waiting to serve a higher-ranking noblewoman or even a princess. Your carriage, an ox-drawn affair, has just rumbled to a halt, and you step out, adjusting your many layers. It's a common historical fact that court ladies rarely ventured out of the palace grounds, so this arrival is a momentous occasion, likely one of your last encounters with the bustling outer world for quite some time. The air hums with unspoken rules, and your posture stiffens almost instinctively. A quirky detail. During this period, women were often identified by the color or pattern of their outer robes, as their faces were usually concealed from public view, sometimes even from close male relatives. Historians still debate whether this strict visual concealment truly empowered or further restricted women in such a visually obsessed culture. You glide through the sliding doors, a new life unfurling before you, a delicate tapestry of silk and whispers. The first rays of dawn filter through the wooden screens of your chamber, not quite piercing the perpetual dimness within. Your day begins with a series of elaborate rituals. Servants attend to your every need, a quiet ballet of hair combing and robe arranging. You sit patiently, your hair, which is ideally meant to reach the floor, being meticulously brushed and styled. This lengthy process is a crucial common historical fact of Heian beauty standards. Long flowing hair was a sign of nobility and refinement. Then comes the makeup. A thick white foundation applied to your face and neck, followed by plucked eyebrows redrawn high on your forehead. And finally, the rather bold application of Time's ohaguro asterisk, a black dye for your teeth, making them appear like polished obsidian when you smile. It's a look that might raise an eyebrow or two today, but then it was the epitome of chic. A quirky detail often overlooked is that the main ingredient for Time's ohaguro Times was actually iron filings steeped in tea or sake, which was believed to have medicinal benefits for tooth enamel, making it a health routine as much as a cosmetic one. Historians still debate the exact cultural origins of Time's ohaguro asterisk, wondering if it was purely aesthetic or had deeper spiritual significance beyond hygiene. Once ready, your day unfolds at a pace so languid it could lull a hummingbird to sleep. Hours are spent practicing calligraphy, composing poetry, or perhaps gossiping softly behind your fan with a fellow lady. Your wardrobe isn't just clothing. It's a statement, a complex language of layered silk. You select your robes for the day, choosing from an array of colors and textures, each layer peeking out from beneath, the next in a carefully coordinated cascade. This multi-layered ensemble, known as Time's jūnihitoe asterisk, or 12-layered robe, is a common historical fact. Though the actual number of layers often varied and could be far more than 12, sometimes up to 20. Imagine the weight, the warmth, the sheer effort of moving gracefully in such attire. Each sleeve, each hem, each neckline revealing a sliver of the color beneath, creating a visual poem of seasonal hues and personal taste. A quirky detail. The specific combination of colors, known as Time's kasane no irome asterisk, was so important that it often signified the season, the wearer's rank, or even their current mood. It was an unspoken code, read by everyone at court, a silent conversation played out in silk. Historians still debate how much individual expression was truly possible within such rigid fashion dictates, wondering if ladies found genuine artistic freedom or if it felt more like a uniform. Remember that extensive hair combing, all part of crafting the perfect silhouette, a flowing, ethereal presence that moved like a dream through the palace halls. Life at court, despite its strict protocols, was also a hotbed of subtle flirtation and poetic exchange. You, like other ladies, communicate with gentlemen, and sometimes other ladies primarily through poetry. A neatly penned times waka times poem, perhaps delivered on a sprig of plum blossom, is a common historical fact of Heian courtly romance. These weren't grand declarations, but intricate dances of subtle emotion, allusions, and veiled intentions. You meticulously choose your paper, your ink, and even the scent of your poem, as each element carries meaning. A quick note to yourself: never use stationery that smells like last week's fish. A quirky detail is that these poetic exchanges often happened at a distance, with ladies often remaining behind screens, when speaking to men or even hiding their faces behind fans. The mystery was part of the allure. Rendezvous, when they did happen, were often secret, under the cover of darkness in hushed gardens or hidden wings of the palace. Historians still debate the true nature of these love affairs. Were they genuinely passionate romances, or often more about social climbing, poetic reputation, and the fleeting thrill of transgression in a tightly controlled world? You find yourself carefully crafting your replies, each syllable a calculated move in this elegant game of hearts. Amidst the endless rounds of poetry, fashion, and social maneuvering, you find a different kind of solace, a private world unfurling on the delicate pages of your diary. Keeping a diary, or times nikki asterisk, was a common historical fact for educated women of the Heian court. These weren't just appointment books, they were deeply personal chronicles, blending daily observations, emotional reflections, and even social commentary. You dip your brush in ink, the faint scent of charcoal filling your nostrils, and begin to write, perhaps detailing the latest gossip from the imperial princess's chambers, or the intricate patterns on a new robe gifted by a suitor. A quirky detail is that these diaries were rarely intended for a wide public audience. They were often personal reflections, sometimes shared with close confidantes, but primarily for the writer's own benefit. Yet, it's precisely this intimate, unvarnished perspective that makes them so invaluable to us today. Historians still debate the extent to which authors like Sei Shonagon and Murasaki Shikibu, whose diaries became celebrated works, self-censored or crafted their narratives with an eye towards a potential future readership, even if only a small, select one. This diary becomes your silent companion, a repository for your thoughts that you dare not speak aloud in the ever-watchful palace. Your brushstrokes flow across the delicate paper, not just in diaries, but in correspondence, poetry, and perhaps even prose. The Heian court placed an incredibly high value on literary skill, especially for women, making your ability to write elegant prose and compelling poetry a common historical fact of female accomplishment. A lady's reputation could soar or plummet based on the sophistication of her times, waka times, or the beauty of her calligraphy. Imagine the thrill when a particularly witty poem you penned circulates among the court, earning quiet admiration behind a fan. Your voice, otherwise confined by screens and etiquette, finds its full expression on the page. A quirky detail: while men at court often wrote in Chinese, considered the formal language of government, women largely wrote in Japanese, utilizing the emerging phonetic syllabary, asterisk, kana asterisk. This distinction inadvertently led to a flourishing of Japanese literature by women, creating what many consider the golden age of classical Japanese prose. Historians still debate whether this linguistic division was a deliberate measure to separate male and female spheres of influence, or simply a practical development that unintentionally empowered women's literary voices. You realize the pen is indeed mightier, a silent weapon in your graceful silken arsenal. Even in this world of refined beauty, shadows and scrutiny are constant companions. Palace life, for all its elegance, is riddled with intrigue and rivalries. You navigate a complex social landscape where a whispered rumor behind a fan can quickly become a devastating scandal. Your rank, your connections, and even the quality of your poetry are constantly being judged. It's a common historical fact that court ladies often formed alliances, sometimes competing fiercely for the favor of powerful patrons or the emperor himself. A witty aside might be, it's like a reality TV show but with more silk and fewer direct insults. A quirky detail of court life was the elaborate gift-giving culture, where the quality and appropriateness of a gift, and even its accompanying poem, could signify respect or subtle disdain. Receiving a less than stellar gift, or one with an oddly rhymed poem, could send ripples through the court's gossip network. Historians still debate the extent to which these rivalries were personal, stemming from genuine animosity, or primarily strategic, a means to secure one's own position and that of one's family. You learn to read between the lines of every poem, every gesture, forever watchful for shifting alliances and potential slights. As the years turn into decades, your time at court, with its fragrant air and silent dramas, eventually draws to a close. Perhaps you retire to a quiet life, or perhaps your influence simply fades with the rise of new favorites. But you left something behind, something that transcends the fleeting whispers of gossip and the delicate rustle of silk, your diaries. It's a profound common historical fact that these personal writings by Heian court ladies, like Murasaki Shikibu's Times, The Tale of Genji Times, which, while a novel, drew heavily on her court experiences, or Sei Shonagon's Times, The Pillow Book Asterisk, offer an unparalleled window into an otherwise distant world. Your words, carefully penned on those delicate pages, bridge 1,000 years, allowing us a glimpse into the everyday lives, emotions, and thoughts of women living in a time utterly unlike our own. A quirky detail, often forgotten, is that many of these diaries, initially private, were later circulated and copied by hand, sometimes for centuries, before ever reaching a wider audience. Imagine a small, personal thought you wrote down, becoming a historical treasure. Historians still debate how representative these diaries are of the broader female experience in Heian Japan, acknowledging that they primarily reflect the lives of an elite, highly educated few. But even with that caveat, your voice, etched in ink, continues to resonate. As the echoes of the Heian court slowly fade into the quiet expanse of history, let your mind gently release the images of layered silks and perfumed chambers. We step back from the intricate dance of poetic flirtations and subtle courtly intrigues, leaving behind the whispers and the watchful eyes. Tonight, you've journeyed through a world where beauty was paramount, and words held immense power. Feel the last vestiges of that ancient elegance dissolve, replaced by the comforting hush of your own surroundings. All the concerns of forgotten fashion and long-lost rivalries can now softly recede, like mist over a Heian garden pond at dawn. Just breathe and allow yourself to drift into a deep and peaceful rest, carrying only the gentle hum of history's lullaby. Sweet dreams.